I have been meditating for approximately 14,500 days, which I worked out is about 40 years. And I have got three things, big lessons that I learned from all that experience. Meditation has been part of my life for the last, well, since I was 15. And it's always been in my life. There have been times when I've been passionately in love with it, and other times where I can barely be bothered. But generally, it's always been there. It's always been part of my life, and has been a hugely important and positive thing, not only for managing anxiety or stress, etc., but also for seeing very, very clearly how this thing, my brain, how this mind operates and the things it does. So, my first takeaway from all those years, my first tip, my first lesson, if you like, is that I have come to recognize that whatever I'm going through, especially the negative emotions or feelings or anxiety and stress that I feel that I'm going through, there are so many other people going through the same thing. We have this idea, our thinking has this notion that we are completely alone in what's going on and our experience and how we feel, until we meet and talk and share with other people and realize, oh my word, there are so many other people going through the same stuff. And when you meditate, you get a very, very clear shot of, or snapshot, if you like, of what your mind does and how it creates the storylines and the ideas. The storylines, I mean, about ourselves, and most of that stuff is negative. But firstly, what I recognized was everybody suffers from this. Everyone has this feeling in them that they are alone. And that through meditation, I recognize, wow, this is absolutely universal. Everybody has these feelings of self-doubt or anxiety or stress, etc. And meditation really helped me see that really clearly, that that I wasn't alone in this process. The second thing I learned is that everything I wanted in my life, I already had. And let me clarify that. Firstly, obviously, there are the four things that every human being needs to survive. So I'm kind of putting those to one side, them being food, water, clothing, and shelter, obviously. But apart from those, everything I required, I already had. And I spent so much of my life, whether it was materially trying to get stuff, whether it was nicer cars or a better job or the perfect relationship or the next vacation, or even being in monasteries, etc., I noticed that there was this thing in me that was constantly trying to get something else for me, that I wasn't quite good enough, that there was this distinct sense of lack in me. And I truly believe that by pushing really hard and being a really, really committed meditator, that I was going to discover something that I didn't already had. And of course, the irony is I already had it. I already was perfectly okay as I was, and so are you. There is this notion that whether it's a spiritual practice or it's getting stuff like I said, like material stuff like TVs and the latest iPhone, etc., that somehow this is going to fill this void in us, this feeling in us that we're not good enough. And oh my word, I spent decades chasing that and exhausted myself until I realized that what I wanted, what I needed, I already had. And that by instead of trying to attain something or get something, I literally just sat. So I stopped trying to be the perfect meditator. I just sat and I rested. And within that, I saw very, very clearly that generally everything I want, everything I need, I already am. I don't need to change. It's the notion that we have to change and develop that causes most of the dissatisfaction in our lives as a meditator. And it's the dissatisfaction and the idea that we have to improve that causes us to go out and buy lots of stuff or get loads of stuff or think we need to have lots of experience. And actually all these things are a distraction from the truth, which is meditation clearly points to, which is you have to embrace and accept not only the bits you like about yourself, but also the bits that are a little bit unattractive and a bit wobbly or a bit emotional, etc. You accept those too. And the irony, of course, is that the moment you stop trying to find it or change it, something in you comes to rest, something in you finds peace without you grabbing it and grasping it. So the second point really is that apart from the 4 basic needs, you are perfectly fine as you are. There might be, some things that you need to deal with in terms of your stress levels or anxiety, etc. But generally, most people are fine as they are. It's purely and simply not easy. It's simple, but not easy, about finding a sense of acceptance within yourself, and buying lots of stuff and getting lots of having lots of experiences doesn't change the fundamental feeling in you until you address it within yourself. And you can do that through meditation. That was my second lesson. So my first lesson was everyone's going through the same thing. The second one was everything that I need, I already have. And the third one, and probably the most important, was I am not my thinking. That I am so much more than my thinking, and so are you. I noticed that so much of my thinking was negative, mostly about myself, sometimes about other people, but generally about myself. And I found through meditation that I could watch my mind, my thinking, go on and on and on and on and never stop. And I did this exercise once years ago on a meditation retreat, and we were all in silence. We were in silence for about 10 days, I think, and you were given a pen and a paper, and every hour you had to write down what you were thinking. And I did this during your waking hours. You could write down what you were thinking every hour, and after a while you recognize, wow, my thinking is so repetitive. It is the same utter nonsense, the same storyline about myself, sometimes about others, but mostly about myself, again and again and again. And through meditation, I realized that your thinking is like a river. It's like a babbling brook, actually, not a river. And you are the rock. You are the thing in the middle of the river, unmoved, as the thinking just keeps going by. And that analogy really helped me, that I recognize I don't have to stop my thinking and have some clear moment of no thinking, which is relatively impossible, but actually I just needed to not identify with my thinking. I could watch the thinking come and go, but I didn't have to respond to it. It was an absolute revelation. And that meant if I wasn't my thinking, then I wasn't my anxiety either. I wasn't my stress either. These were merely things that were coming and going. They were flowing past me, and I didn't have to pick them up. I didn't have to identify with them. So those are my 3 takeaways. Firstly, everybody is going through the same thing. Secondly, you are already perfect as you are. That there is nothing lacking in you. And thirdly, you are not your thinking. I really hope that helps. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or queries. And I just wanted to say I am not an expert in this. I've been doing this most of my adult life, but I don't consider myself an expert. And I don't believe there are levels of attainment within meditation or any type of spiritual practice. I think that's a nonsense. I think there are different perceptions, different ways of exploring and explaining this thing called being a human being, but I don't for a minute think I'm an expert. So I just wanted to make that clear, but I'm really happy to share. And if anybody wants to contact me, please leave me a message below. Bye bye.